Cool. So I'm going to jump into data sets and talk a little bit about how they work and why they're important to ML. Let's get started. So if there's anything I want you to take away from this class, it's that the most creative thing you can do in machine learning is actually building a data set. That might sound crazy because you think there's so much code that you work with in machine learning and whatnot, but like machine learning entirely runs off of a data set. So you've heard a lot of people talk about stuff like big data, or like, you know, we're in the era of big data, like everything is about data, that sort of thing. And we can think about like what that actually means. And the way I like to describe it is with this guy, I guess his name is Bender, right? Does anyone ever watch that show? Okay, so let's imagine Bender is a robot, because he actually is. He's a smart robot that uses machine learning, and I want to teach him to play the guitar. And maybe I want to teach him country. These are like unsplash images that are really weird. Maybe sometimes I want to teach him country music. Maybe sometimes I want to teach him metal. And like, how do I teach him to actually like learn to play the guitar or use it? Well, I need data. So this is like, I might train him using sheet music. Like I'll train him like, this is what, when you see a note that is shaped like this, that means a certain length of time. When you see how far up or down these rows are, that means the note you're supposed to play. So the assumption is like, if I train with these sort of rules, like Bender will eventually learn to play the guitar, right? And that's the whole point of data. Like the more data I have, the better off this will be, right? So if I have sheet music that is for country music, like he can learn country music. If I have sheet music for metal, he can learn metal. If I have sheet music for, I don't know, classical guitar, that would work too. But it's like the more sheet music I have, the more likely he is to be able to learn different ranges of music. Now the problem is what if I try to teach him how to play the piano? Like if I trained him on all of guitar music and then I throw him a piano example, like he's not going to know what to do with it. And that's something that we might see a lot in like machine learning art, right? Is we've trained it on a certain thing and then we throw it a different thing and it has like no idea how to work and it produces a very glitched out image. Like this is also a case of like where because Big Bygan was never trained on certain birds, it didn't see the birds that it was supposed to see, or like the birds that we were trying to show it. So like the range of your data set matters a lot. And it also matters like what are the exact things that the machine is trying to learn from that data set, right? So if this machine is just trying to learn to reproduce other notes or things that look like music, and it doesn't know how to actually play that music, it can reproduce just like images that look like sheet music. That doesn't mean it knows how to play it. So it's like also important to understand like what is the purpose of the model? What is it trying to do with the data you're giving it? So as I said, data sets are the most creative part of machine learning art, and it's also hands down the hardest part of machine learning art. So again, I think some people like pointed out that like maybe some of the machines that the models they're playing with in one way weren't trained on certain things, right? And it turns out that like finding a good data set to train a machine on is very, very hard. And a lot of people end up just making their own. And I've got some examples of things that people have made. But it's like hands down the hardest and most time consuming part of the work. And at the end of class, I'll show you exactly what that means by actually trying to do like how to make a data set.